Hello everybody, my name is Hunter Hero and welcome to my Danger for Hire deck profile for October. This deck is lots of fun and it just got support out of Darkwing Blast, which makes this deck a lot better than what it was used to be sitting at. And we'll be going over that. We only lost, so I did really well in this, in a local tournament recently, only losing to Dark Magician's Flipping Rivalry and Runic Sprite due to improper setting, but we'll talk about that when we move into the sideboard talk as we usually do. But to kind of prevent me from rambling too long, we will move into the main deck monsters and let's get this profile started. Starting us off, we have 3 Beat Bladesmen for Hire. So all of the level 4 and lower for hires have the effect to special another for hire from your hand with a different name. And so we're gonna blank over that as we talk about these cards. But what does Beat do? They also have an additional effect when another monster is special summoned. And Beat is your Rhoda. So if you summon another monster, for another for hire monster while this thing's on the board, he searches, once per turn he searches for another for hire. So, your normal Beat, you use his effect to special summon another guy, and then Beat activates to search, another guy. And that's kind of how this daisy chain works. We're also gonna have to go over one of the combos, and he's one of your starters for it. So, well, he's probably the starter of the deck, but yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. I'll go over the main combo and what you should be trying to end on. For the next card, we have 3 Rex, Freight for Hire. This card just came out, and this card is ridiculous. So on summon, it searches any of your for hire spells or traps, and then in the graveyard is a quick effect Monster Reborn, or add back of the spell cards if you target a spell. That's already really dumb, but the fact that it's level 2 actually comes into play later on. This one is the only for hire in the level 4 lower category that doesn't come with a special summon, but he's a Monster Reborn, so he makes up for it. Moving on to the last 3 of for hire, we are playing 3 copies of Philo, Messenger for Hire. So this monster is a Monster Reborn. But whatever you Monster Reborn goes back to the bottom of the deck on resolution. So let's play this at 1. I actually prefer valuing it at 3. It's also very important for combo when you go first, since this is a going first list of the deck, not a going second list. You mostly board into going second. So there's 3 Philo. And then for other for hire names, for the level 2s at least, we have 2 Donpa, Marksman for Hire, and 1 Recon Scout for Hire. These cards are very important for how the end board looks up. This one's mostly just for another name that has the special summon effect on it. This one pops a face-up card, this one pops a set when another for hire is summoned. This one's more important for when you end your, the end of your combo. This one's just normally used to help get you there, due to its level 2. And we'll get that when we get towards the combo and extra deck stuff. For another 2 of, we have 2 Seal, Strategist for Hire. This card grabs back monsters in the grave, which means that if you're comboing off, you can use this to grab back beats and stuff, so you have follow-up. It's not really that important, but it's just another monster with the summoning effect. He's also, his stat line's okay. 1600 tech's not the best, but... and then the last level 4 lower is 1 Bravo, Fighter for Hire. This guy gives all your guys 500 attack and defense, so this is when you pivot into turn 3. This is normally when you want to bring him out and then trigger his effect. Just so that way you can get that extra 500 boost, because a lot of your guys are a bunch of weenies, or, like, only okay. And he himself is like a 24, so you basically push him for lethal guaranteed if he hits the board, so... in terms of we are only playing 3 level 5 or higher for hires. We are playing 2 Raphael, Champion for Hire, and 1 Wiz, Sage for Hire. This was Bravo, but I cut it because Spell Trap Negate and the Life Point in Time is a lot better than just Lightning Rodding and Attack. Raphael's a Monster Negate, and then he excavates cards up to the other monsters, other for hire monsters you have on the board. So, like, let's say that, you summon Wrath, and you have, a Rex, and, not another Rex, and, like, a Beat. You excavate 2 cards off the top of your deck, and then you just get to add one of those to your hand. So, Uh, sure, your opponent does get to see them, but it's really, really a great tempo push. It also adds more hand traps to your hand if you need more interactions. So you usually pivot into this guy. He's also used in the best end board humanly possible to kind of keep your opponent off stuff. Wiz is in here just in case either you've already resolved Wrath and you need another effect, or if you're in time. That is how I beat a Two Element Lunalight deck. Is by time was called, so I just summoned this, gained 1,001 in time. It's a little scummy, but it is how time rules work. So yeah. Our danger package is very small, so we're out of fur hires, so we are talking about our very, very small danger package. And by small, it is double Nessie, one Tsuchinoko, that's Tsuchinoko, one Jackalope, there's the Tsuchinoko, and then one Mothman and one Chupacabra. This is it. These are basically all of the dangers that don't overlap with your other monsters. And the reason that that's important is because of how our links are made, is they're with different types. So they're all like curious. And you need different types for that, right? Well, these are all different types from the fur hires. There is, I think, one overlap. Yeah. There is two overlaps. That is Jackalope and Tsuchinoko interacting with this guy interacts with the Recon and Donpa, and this one interacts with Bravo. That doesn't really come up. Normally these are used before them. So the Monster Board effect comes up occasionally. The draw one, discard one is okay. Tsuchinoko and Jackalope are just the best, next to Nessie, who just searches more. So you're not even normally using these. They're just kind of like slot fillers. I really like, but I can't complain too much. They came up a lot. And then for monster hand traps, we are playing 3 Bell and 3 Ash. I wouldn't change these. These are all putting in phenomenal work. Funnily enough, Wrath being a light and your Link monsters being dark, this card's important to stop the Beasted stuff from banishing them out of your graveyard before you can make use of them. And then Ash Blossom is Ash Blossom, and is actually not too bad this format. Hit those Havnesses before they have a chance to interact with you setting up, so that way don't, mess up your turn. Good stuff. That's it for the monsters. You're on a pretty large monster count on things considered. The deck doesn't need a whole lot of back row support because all of it's super searchable and it's all like quick plays and once per turns. So, speaking of quick plays, we're moving into the for hire spells with 3 Rookie and 3 Mayhem. So, what do each of these do? So, Rookie for hire allows you to tribute any monster on your field and then summon a for hire who's 1 level higher or 1 level lower than that monster. So, if you have a level 3, you can summon a 4 or a 2. This card is crazy, and it's used in the primary combo to go really above and beyond. But this also locks you into only attacking with fur hires for the turn. Doesn't really matter too much, doesn't come up all that frequently, but it is still really, really good. And then Mayhem's a monster reborn that summons your guy in defense, so you just can't kill with it. That's fine. It's not the biggest deal. These are all searchable off of Rex, which is why this deck is a lot better now, so... and then we are on Rhoda and 1-for-1. Beats a warrior and 1-for-1 summons Philo out of the deck, so it's just more free extension that the deck needs that doesn't just rely on its normal summon or special summon effects. I do need to find a couple more other ways to summon, but that comes later. And then for the last 3 cards, we're on triple impermanence. Just more hand traps. Being able to set and just play defensively is just really, really important. And so I put in more hand traps rather than just going second. I think going first is the way of the future with this deck. So, yeah, that's it for the main deck. I think we're at 40 or 41. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. Moving on to the extra, we are on 3 Donner, Dagger for Hire. This card is actually a lot crazier than I gave it credit for. So I read this card a couple of times, and it just gets better every time it does. On the field, it is a 1-for-1, so you target a monster on your for hire monster on your side of the field and 1 card your opponent controls, kill them both. Or you can use its other effect where you tribute any card on the field, any of your monsters, and then summon a for hire that's a different type than that card. But if you tribute a Link monster, you can summon another monster as long as they share different types. So you could tribute herself, and that's how your setup combo kind of goes, is that you tribute herself to get that effect. Why are you not focusing? What the hell? Sorry about that. The camera wasn't focusing. But yeah, so she contributed herself for that combo, and that's just absolutely crazy to me that she contributed her for the combo, and then it pluses really really hard. So she's probably the most important link in the deck. Um, Double Falgo. You set up one on your first turn, and then you pivot into the second one when you go in for the game. This card summons a for hire out of your deck that's different from the materials used to make him. And then if a monster on your opponent's side of the field, if a card on your opponent's side of the field is destroyed, draw a card. And then if you have 3 differently named for hires on the board, draw 2 more. Absolutely bonkers. He can't be used as link material, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter all that much. He has a dark, which kind of sucks for the end board, but it'd be like that. For other stuff, we are on Elf and IP as your generic link 2s that you're ending on for combo. The reason Rex is being a level 2 being so important is the fact that you can now elf it out of the graveyard to extend farther. And that's why we have the this little package going on in here. So Elf can summon back Donner or any of your level 2s. And again, we'll cover that in the combo. But that's how you can trigger Falgo on your opponent's turn, draw 3 cards, and then turn these 2 links into like an Appaloosa or a Underworld Goddess, just whatever you need at that time. Which means that this deck has a level of versatility I didn't expect it to have, especially until these cards came out. So these are almost, I'd say, essential, especially if you want to play this deck going first. For what that IP can turn into, we have 2 Nightmares. Phoenix and Unicorn. These are like the go-to nightmares. I could almost play Griffin in here. Would almost be funny. And then we have Appaloosa and Underworld Goddess, as stated earlier. You usually can make this thing with 4 monster negates, plus having the Wrath as the 5th monster negate. Plus you have Underworld Goddess to just eat like Towers monsters because you're spamming so much. It's super easy to do. These cards are great. I actually didn't get to eat a Towers Monsters today, but that's because they Dragoon negated my Appo, not my Appo, my IP, which sucked. But and the last card that you make sometimes is Boral Sword. The other 3 cards in this extra are basically flex choices. I just chose to play them because I thought I'd make them a lot more than what I did. You're already doing fine pushing in for game. It's just that if interaction falls a certain way, you just need that extra push. That's what Boral Sword's in here for. And then for the last 3 cards, we have Abyss Dweller, Dingirsu, and Zeus. I didn't make a single one of these. It's not even worth talking about why they were in here. Now let's talk about the sides, because you basically pivot into blind seconding. This is just my choice for sides, and I could have chosen better. I'll talk about which ones matter. So for the sides, we only have we have 3 monsters, 2 DD Crow, and a Pankratops. Pankratops was phenomenal. These cards sucked. These would be Twin Twisters, or Feather Duster and something else. The main thing was that I was thinking that would be a little more Tier Lament and Sprite going around, and while I was correct on both of those, I didn't even bother siding into these, because other sides are a lot better for this. So play back row removal, especially because of Runic being in the format over the DD Crows, but the Pankratops is great. For spells, Triple Tactics Talent, Forbidden Droplet, and Dark Ruler No More. The last one is a monster. We'll talk about him in a second, but like these cards are all great. Pivoting into past game 1, I tend to leave this in. Droplets and DRNM use as fit. So like DRNM is better globally, but if you need targeting hate, Forbidden Droplet because you maintain enough hand advantage to warrant playing this. Use fill in the blanks as needed. This deck's kind of a little more versatile than people give it credit for that department. And then we have the MVP at the sideboard, 3 Nibiru. This card is absolutely crazy. It's gotten even better in these last couple of formats. Just summoning a big rock on your opponent's side of the board. You can pop it with Donpa if the token's ever too big for you to naturally out, which is such a relief for how this deck works. Just because sometimes the boards are a little hard to interact through, so you'd rather just crash over. So that's why this Nibiru is really, really a big deal. So yeah, so that's it for the sideboard. So let's talk about how combo works. So I'm going to get you a starter hand here. The entire combo is reliant on you seeing beat and like basically any other set of monsters, right? So how the combo works is you normal summon beat, activate his effect, summon the other monster, trigger beat, grab Rex. Grab Rex. Then use whatever the extra special you summoned to summon the Rex. Who will then search Rookie for hire. Right? Again, really depending on what the hand is, determines how effective this next line is going to be. But then you go Rookie, tribute off the Rex to summon Philo out of the deck. Then you're going to link these two off. And you make Donner in the right EMZ. Doesn't really matter which EMZ you take, but I just tend to build towards the right. Then you activate Donner's effect to summon back the Seal and the Rex. Just as long as you summon the Rex from Donner, it's fine. This will then trigger Philo to summon back the 4th monster in your grave. You then link these guys off into Falgo, who you can use to summon either Raph here or so normally you use him to summon Raph, and then Raph will trigger for 2. And let's just say he grabs like a Donpa or something. Why not? Just so that way his negates live. You then soup these two into your elf, who can then summon back your Rex. And then if you have that extra extender, you would summon the extra monster here, link it to IP, and, so drop that there. You link it to IP, and you sit like this. Now, the reason that Donpa is super important is that when you set them up like this under the Falgo, IP, and Elf, you can go Elf to summon, if you want. Elf can summon the Donner when your opponent summons something, triggering the Donpa to pop, and then you draw 3, and then you can use the extra summon from Rex to get the negate set up, and then you link off the other cards to make more monster negates. And the combo is really self-sufficient. Just hope that you don't open just for hire monsters, because if you open nothing but for hires and your normal summon gets interacted with, you kind of can't play out of that. Practice, tailor your own experience to yourself. But yeah, that's going to do it for this deck profile, guys. I appreciate you kind of like watching me ramble on for one of the most fun decks I've had building and playing. Let me know your thoughts, tech choices and other things like that down below. I've been loving the recent interactions because it helps me learn what, and improve at the game just as much as I hope these are helping you guys. So, again, thank you for watching, and just have a wonderful evening, okay?